how you grow your skills as an individual. So today, Raza Server, who is GM Talent Acquisition and Outsourcing, he will take us through some of the process mechanics, frameworks, and tips of assessing your progress. And today we are going to end the first section, which was achieving the self-excellence. I'm sure all these small efforts are going to add value to all of us in our professional and personal life. So over to you, Raza.
Thank you so much, Amjad sir. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hope everyone is fine and you are enjoying this holy month of Ramadan. My today's topic is assessing progress, which is a very important subject because it helps you to reach your destination as per your defined plan. Let me connect my slides first. Let me share it. Can you see the slides? Can anyone please confirm me?
Yes.
It's slide
Visible,
is
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, we can see.
So it is appearing on in full size now.
Raza, it is full screen now.
Let me switch off my camera as well.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Can we proceed, sir?
Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. My name is Muhammad Bashir, and I'm from Karachi, AIM admin. Ramzan Mubarak to everybody, sir, please.
Khair Mubarak.
Okay, so first of all, let's try to understand what do we exactly mean by assessing progress or assessment. Assessment refers to the act of determining or estimating the value of something and making appropriate judgments on issues, tasks, assignments, or projects. It is used interchangeably with words like evaluation, examination, etc. In this topic, we will be talking about self-monitoring or self-evaluation of any project or task. Self-assessment is the ability to examine any task to find out how much progress you have made. It is a skill that helps individuals monitor their own work or even abilities and need to find out their weaknesses and strengths. The purpose of self-assessment is to help us know the level of our abilities and to improve upon them. When you are assessing the progress, you also try to answer few questions like what are my strengths, what are the obstacles, what are my weaknesses, and how I can improve on them. Am I on the right track, or where should I devote my energy and resources to achieve the desired target? Normally, when we are working on something, we generally know that how we have performed or how we are proceeding. But this assessment is not supported by any concrete numbers, which is very important that it should be supported by some quantitative measures. When we continuously assess the progress of our tasks or projects, it also helps us in fostering the culture of constant communication and feedback. So, before we go into the detail of our topic, today's topic, first look at this slide and try to identify the difference between both these pictures. There are two different groups of people, or you can say teams. One is celebrating their success and other is sitting sad or disappointed. It means team on the left side has achieved their target and team on the right side couldn't achieve it. It means the left side team must have done something better as compared to other team. So do you ever wonder what separates the high achievers from everyone else? There are, of course, many possible answers to this question, but one of them is that maybe they plan better, they monitor their progress, and they work hard and achieve their targets. In order to assess the progress, there is a four-step model using and implementing which we can assure our objectives to be achieved successfully. This model is SDAR model, where S stands for setting objectives, D stands for define standards, A stands for analyze success, and R for realign objectives. Now let's discuss all these steps one by one. First step is setting objectives. Why is it so important to set objectives in your life? In life, you are either part of your own plan or someone else has planned something for you. People who don't set goals or objectives in their lives, they tend to go with the wind and believe that life just happens to them, or whatever they have or don't have they don't have is due to just a matter of luck. That is difference between setting goals and not setting goals. It's the difference between taking charge of your life versus having life taking control of you. Here, taking charge doesn't mean not enjoying the journey or not going with the flow. It simply means you enjoy the journey, but you know where you are heading and you work towards it on a daily basis until you reach your desired destination. The research has proved that if you set objectives properly, the chances of success increases in every aspect of life where it is applied. It may be your work, your business, your family, your physical health, or even your financials. All successful people are goal oriented. They know exactly what they want. They are working towards the achievement of their goals every single day. They tend to accomplish far more than the average person in all aspects of life. Okay, so a few questions which you need to ask yourself, do you have any goals you desperately want to achieve? Have you thought about what you want to be doing in next 5 years? Are you clear about what your main objective at work is at the moment? Do you know what you want to achieve by the end of today? If you want to succeed, you need to set objectives. Without that, you lack focus and direction. Setting objectives not only allows you to take control of direction of your life, it also provides you a benchmark for determining whether you are actually succeeding or not. Every goal you set requires something from you. No matter what it is, you must first meet those requirements to have this goal in your life. To achieve a goal, you need to live your life a certain way. You may, for instance, need to discipline yourself to keep your environment circumstances in order, to improve the quality of your work, to eat healthier meals, even to curb your spending habits. So formulating your objectives, okay. First of all, you need to decide what you really want to achieve. You should not be concerned about what others want from you or for you. You should make your goals for yourself. Studies show that when your objectives are personally meaningful, you are more likely to get ahead in life and achieve them. Once you have an idea of what you really want to achieve, you need to prioritize these areas. If you will try to work on all the objectives at a time, then you would be unable to achieve any of them, or maybe you have to compromise the quality of few of them. If you want to, let's say for example, if you want to get married and you want to do PhD, and at the same time also you want to travel around the world, then all these are quite difficult at the same time. um, you have to be specific and realistic about what it is that you want to achieve. Setting an aspirational goal is okay, good, but at the same time, it should be realistic as well. For example, buying a BMW won't help you if your budget is for Suzuki Mehran. And while setting aspirational objectives, you need to know exactly what to do to get you there. Otherwise, you will just be wasting your time in daydreaming. You should always write down your goals, and while doing so, you should be clear and include deadlines as well. Writing them down tends to make them feel a little more real. Keep your list in a place where you can refer them frequently. Also, while writing your goals, language should be positive. For example, always write eat more vegetables and fruits instead of saying that stop eating junk food. This will also keep you motivated. One important point is, which I think all of us already know, that objectives should be measurable. Otherwise, how will you know when you have completed a goal? Please avoid vague goals. You should create a realistic schedule. Your deadlines doesn't have to be exact, but it should be your best guess. Your deadlines must be realistic based on your objectives and resources which are available with you. For example, if you have started your career as assistant manager in PTCL and you don't have any other source of income or support from anyone else, and you set your objective to buy a Honda Civic within 1 year, then it means your deadline is not realistic. I guess you can't even buy a Suzuki Mehran in 1 year with your savings if you are PM in PTCL. Um, Usually, we don't think about the obstacles or hurdles we are going to face in achieving our objectives. But if we identify them and prepare a mitigation plan, then there are more chances to achieve your objectives. Normally, we are shy enough to share our personal objectives of life with anyone else, mainly because we are afraid that if we fail, we will be ashamed. Don't think it in this way. By sharing with other people, they can help you reach your goals. They can offer physical assistance, or even they can just give you the necessary moral support. Try to find like-minded people. There are chances that you are not the only one with this goal. Find others who have the same objectives. You can get started together and benefit from each other's knowledge and experiences. And when your target will be achieved, you will have at least someone to celebrate with. This is a special advice while setting your goals. If you really want to be exceptionally successful in your life, then set high objectives. Our leader also says that dream big. By doing so, you immediately raise your expectations of what is possible. Then you start expecting more from yourself, more from your actions, and more from others. In this case, you are naturally willing to do more to get the best out of yourself, which subsequently raises your standards of performance. As a result, you feel more confident about your goal and about the opportunities that are available. It is important to note here that when it comes to most things, the majority of people have low level of standards and expectations, and this is one of the main reason they don't achieve anything of much significance in their lives. Their low standards lead to average results, which is of course an opportunity for you, because if most people set low standards, then you, by raising your own personal standards, you gain an edge that can help you to achieve your goal. Now, there are few tips which you can consider while your journey towards achieving objectives. You can find a mentor for the guidance. We had a detailed discussion on Thursday on finding mentors. They can really help you in achieving your objectives because of their experience. Your objectives are normally divided into milestones. So when you achieve any milestone, celebrate it. Whatever the objective you set, it is your objective because of some reason. It is something that you want for yourself in future. So you should be passionate and excited about it. Research has shown that visualization can help improve your performance. It will energize you and will help you to be passionate about achieving your objective. Follow your plan of action because it will give you the idea what steps you need to take to achieve your objectives. Those people who treat setbacks as learning experiences are more likely to feel positive about their ability to achieve their goals. If you view challenges, setbacks, or even your mistakes as failures and beat yourself up for them, you will be focusing on the past instead of looking toward the future. Last but not the least, start working towards your goal today. You see, one of the hardest step to achieving your goals is taking the first step. Even if you don't know what your exact course of action is going to be, can I please request you to switch off your microphones?
Raza, you
Okay. So when you complete your first step, you are most likely to continue working on your goal. Okay, so now step 2 of our model is define standards. This is very important to define these standards, which will help you to measure the progress towards achieving your objectives. Once you figure out the best way to track your progress and the types of progress you need to track, choose how often you will track it. It might be weekly, monthly, or even on a daily basis. Because it's better to have it frequently, because on the way, if you suddenly notice you are not where you should be, you only have to make up 2 or 3 days worth of work. If you are only checking once a week, you could get an entire week behind before you notice it. So this is a famous formula that what's get measured gets done. So if you cannot measure what you are doing, then you will never come to know that you have achieved your objective. So this is also important to assign each objective a measurable unit. This might seems obvious, but it's impossible to measure your goals if they are not formulated in terms of a measurable unit. Every goal needs to be assigned both a measurable unit to quantify success and a unit of time against which you will measure your success. Everyone sets objectives, whether they are daily objectives like completing a project, personal objective, personal aspirations like traveling the world, or even workplace targets. Just setting an objectives is not enough to get you over the line, unfortunately. So you have to. So, so how do you high achievers do it? By setting measurable objectives, keeping track of them, and progress towards these objectives. The first step to measure your progress is taken at the objective setting stage. When setting an objective, you must set an objective that can actually be measured. For example, rather than saying, I want to lose weight, you would determine how kilograms or pounds you want to lose. In this case, the best means of measurement would be a weighing machine using which you can monitor your performance. Some of the methods to measure progress may not be available to you, therefore it is important that you choose them wisely. So first one is facts and figures. Quantitative measure is far easier and more precise than qualitative. For the majority of the objectives that you set, you will be able to find a way to quantify progress. For example, if your objective is to buy something and you are saving money, it is easy to keep track of your savings in Pakistan rupees. Similarly, if your goal is to get a better physical condition or dieting, then you can keep the track of weight you lose in pounds. You must have a few objectives which can be achieved relatively quickly and easily. However, for the remaining objectives, you need to have a plan. A plan allows you to break each goal into sub goals or milestones, which you can then put into a time frame. The time frame then allows you to measure your progress. For example, if the task is due to be completed by Sunday, and when Sunday comes, you can easily see the task is either completed or not. This is an excellent way to stay organized. When you have a plan, you can easily determine the priority of your task, that which tasks are most important for each day. This enables you to maximize your productivity. It is always better to keep the record of your progress as you proceed. If you take your notes and let's say you fail to meet your targets, you can refer to your notes to identify exactly what went wrong. Similarly, if you try something and it works, you can make a record of it. This way, not only you will be able to see what is not working, you will also have a record of things which have worked well so that you can try them again. When you complete an objective, it is likely that you will have to do the same thing or something similar again. You can always refer back to your records to get information on what worked and what did not work. This gives you valuable information to create the best plan possible. Now, checklist. Once you have created a plan for achieving your objective, you will have a list of the tasks which needs to be completed and the date on which they need to be completed. When you complete a task, you simply tick it off and note down the date on which it was completed. When you review your progress for the goal, which you should do regularly, you can quickly measure your progress, identify any corrective action which you may need to take. Checklists are also a fantastic way to motivate yourself to achieve the objectives and boost your confidence, as they give you a visual representation of how far you have progressed. There are some objectives for which you cannot use a quantitative method to measure your progress. Some important objectives are simply qualitative in nature. For example, building your confidence or enhancing your Microsoft Excel skills. To measure your progress on these objectives, you can keep track of your progress by creating your own rating system. You can decide which numbers to use for the system. The most common rating scales are 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. For this approach to be effective, you need to have a definition for each point on the scale. For example, how would you feel if your confidence was at number 4 or on 5-point scale? You would then rate your confidence each day at the same time and see how you are progressing. You can even plot your scores on a graph for a visual representation of your progress. Once you set the objective and define the standards to measure your progress, you need to set up your system to measure your progress. This could be as simple as buying the weighing machine and deciding the day of the week and at what time you are going to take your weight. Some standards need a little more effort to be defined. Once you have your system set up, it will take very little amount time of your schedule. In very little time, you receive a detailed information which allows you to make any necessary changes to accelerate your progress. When you measure your progress on a regular basis, your confidence and motivation level is increased as you realize that you are moving closer to your target. The third step for model is analyzing success. There is a famous expression that when the going gets tough, the tough get going, which means when the situation becomes difficult, the strong person will work harder to meet the challenge. So when the going gets tough, it's great to hear that progress is being made. There is no use of setting an objective if you will never know whether you are successful or not. To determine the level of success that you achieve, you must be able to measure your progress. When you measure your progress, you can see how you are coming along, and this is a powerful motivator to help you stick with it. If you are making good progress, your confidence grows along with your motivation. When you analyze your progress, it gives you a realistic picture of the situation. If you are not making the desired progress, you are able to see this before you fall too far behind. You can then identify the changes that need to be made and implement them. Measuring success tells you how you are doing and how much progress you have made. Analyzing success can motivate you, help you catch yourself when you are slacking, and tell you when to change the course of action. There are some ways you can measure to find out just how successful you are in achieving your objectives, starting with some basic matrices and ending with some more unique ways to think about success matrices. First one is profitability. When your business is making money, it means some measure of success, especially if there is money left over after you cover all your expenses. When you set up a new business, in the initial months you don't get any profit, and with the passage of some time you start making profit as well, and that is the time when you have feelings of some success in your life. Second is the number of customers. Every company needs customers, and there is no stage when a company says that we have enough number of customers and we don't need any more. When we see more and more number of customers are increasing, that is also a sign of success. Beyond the increasing number of success, it is also important to make your customers happy and enhance their satisfaction level. If our customers are happy, we don't need to spend so much on marketing. Their word of mouth will be enough for us, as we will be getting more customers from their friends and family circle. So increasing the satisfaction level of our customers day by day is also the measure of our success. What if our employees are not happy or satisfied? Are you still successful? Are they going to continue working hard for a long time? No, they will not. Keeping your employees happy is equally important, because happy employees mean a happy business. Apart from the satisfaction level of your customers and satisfaction level of your employees, your own satisfaction level is also important. If you are not satisfied, you are not successful if you're not satisfied, you're not successful. So being happy and satisfied is one of the measure of success. If you are learning and developing yourself, this is also one of the measure of your success. Even if you are learning from your failures, this is also the measure of success in future, because you will learn what to avoid in future to achieve your objectives. How you spend your time each day is also a real measure of success, because this tells you if you have been able to delegate work, develop your teams, or to create an efficient team, and it determines what your main priorities need to be as the manager. If you are prioritizing your task and delegating some of them to your team members, it means your teams are also growing, which is one of the measure of success. So if I conclude this slide, we can see that there are not only quantitative measures for your success. This is not only the financial strength or bottom line of your contract. There are many other measures as well which are important to be successful, and one should keep the balance in measuring the real success. There are few of the tips and tricks to measure this success. First one is establish a periodicity. when you are defining the standards and preparing your course of action, you also have to establish that how often you are going to measure success. When you are measuring the success, you need to ask few questions from yourself. What did you do best? What was your best feature? What were the hang-ups? Which situations were difficult, or what made you most comfortable? When you answer such questions honestly and measure your positive and negative aspects, your successes and shortcomings will be clear to you. No one is perfect in this world, and admitting your flaws is the first step in stepping up and improving and overcoming your weaknesses. So you need to list down your weaknesses, especially those who have main impact on your daily activities. You have to identify that how you can turn your weaknesses into your advantages. There are some stages in your life when some kind of criticism also becomes the biggest source of motivation for you. You need to reflect on your strongest personal aspects or competencies. Think about what identifies you and how this trait of yours stand out. Then you should constantly use it to your advantage. By identifying our strengths and in which aspects you stand out, you can use this to improve your performance at work and also enhance this ability in your overall professional life. And you should continuously try to enhance your strengths, because this is where you create difference as compared to your peers. While measuring the success, always keep in your mind that what objective do you want to achieve. It will help you to keep yourself in the right direction when you are moving towards your objective. Okay. Now, last step of our model, which is realign objectives. If you are badly stuck in something, then please don't spend an entire life failing to achieve a particular objective. Your time is better spent on achievement than on beating yourself up for lack of progress. Maybe you made the goal too big, or maybe you set too many objectives. Um, then you need to do an honest assessment, change what needs to be changed, and keep moving on. As time goes on, our goals are constantly changing and evolving. The end result may not look anything like what we initially set out to do. However, this can sometimes be a good thing. In order to learn from your mistakes and assist you next time, constantly assess your progress throughout your objective setting journey. We need to look at our objectives periodically, which you have set, and we should analyze that. Are these goals still the right goals? We should be flexible enough to change or revise our objectives and targets on the basis of changing circumstances, which may be business related or even personal. As with anything in life, just setting objectives once is not enough. You have to review your objectives regularly, perhaps every few weeks and certainly every month, to make sure that the goals are still relevant to what you want to achieve and you are on track to achieve them. If not, you need to revise them in line with your current situation. So thank you so much. This is all from my side today. Now I am open for questions if you want to ask any. So किसी का कोई question?
जी सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर डिलीवरिंग दिस वंडरफुल स्पीच। मुझे आपसे ये पूछना था कि कंसिस्टेंट कैसे रहा जा सकता है अपने गोल के हिसाब से, कि हम लोग बड़े शुरू में तो मोटिवेटेड होते हैं, लेकिन अगर कोई हर्डल्स आ जाती हैं फिर रुक जाते हैं और बाज़ औक़ात उसको लेट गो करते हैं, तो इसको कैसे कंसिस्टेंसी कैसे रखी जा सकती है?
देखिए मैंने उसमें अपने उसमें कहा था कि एक जगह मैंने लिखा था कि इफ यू सेट योर गोल्स योरसेल्फ, ठीक है, it should be aligned, it should be meaningful for you, one thing. Secondly, I mentioned that you have to list down your goals somewhere and you should keep on visiting them regularly, ठीक है, it will motivate you to achieve your goals. अगर आप, let's say if you have set a goal and you are continuously monitoring it and you are seeing that you are doing some progress, then you will see that when you will see your graph going up, so you will be motivated by.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Sir, my name is Mohammed Bashir and I have few questions. Can I proceed, sir, please?
Ji, please.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. This session has been very good, very informative and very encouraging, inspirational and motivational. So what I always write in my appraisal, in the conclusive remarks, always in my appraisal of the respective years, in previous years, is that we are, such a huge organization and we do have competitors in the market as well. Whatever has been trained today, it's really, really very significant methods of teaching. So my question and my worries, rather you can say, have always been that how can we number one nationally and internationally? We all have, independence of reaching our HRFs, assessing our progresses, and if we don't succeed, we don't get disheartened, as in the course it has been explained. We have all opportunities and successes. What my point of view is that we are working on such a great high level in the country. So how can we number one if we are, unfortunately, we are not number one? How can we number one, not just nationally, internationally, sir? Please.
So, अभी पूछना चाह रहा है कि how we can be number one in internationally?
Yeah, nationally or internationally both. If we are not national level पे अगर हम खुदा ना खास्ता नहीं हैं, इन टर्म्स ऑफ अगर हम अपने कंपेटिटर्स को देखें मार्केट में, हमारे पास बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस भी हैं और हम बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, हमारी बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोडक्ट्स हैं अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह और लोग ले भी रहे हैं. तो आर वी नंबर वन इन सेलिंग पर्सपेक्टिव, कलेक्टिंग रेवेन्यू, एंड हाउ कैन बी इंटरनेशनली नंबर वन एज वेल? Please, sir.
Okay, basically if we want to be number one in international market, so you have to be number one in national first, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, sir. This is what my question is, sir.
Okay, when we say that we have to be number one, we have to first define that in which terms we have to be number one. Is it the revenue or number of customers, or let's say the quality of our service, right? So first of all,
right,
we have to define all these parameters, these standards, right? Then obviously we have to pick these standards or parameters one by one. Then we have to prepare plan that how to achieve those objectives, right? Then what you do is you put your whole energy, your focus towards that objective. For example, if you see that 2-3 months back, our whole focus is to reduce the MTTR, and you saw that we were successful in reducing the MTTR significantly because we were focusing to achieve that objective, right? So when you say let's say when you organize a sales day, you set your target that you have to achieve a certain number of sales on that particular day, and I have seen that most of the regions achieve those targets. It's all about how you are setting your objectives, how much you're passionate about achieving that objective, and how you are planning to achieve that objective. If you have that will to achieve that objective, then it is not that much difficult.
That at the national and international level.
Very correct, sir. Thank you.
Sir Raza, there's one question from Shahid Hussain Qureshi, हमारे regular attendee हैं. How much weightage should be given to अब उन्होंने 3 चीजें पूछी हैं: success measured by one's own self, success measured by peers, and success measured by bosses.
Okay, iska there is no fixed formula that how much weightage should be given. Today's topic is self-assessment or self-measurement, self-assessment of your progress, right? So if you are, let's say, talking about our PMS, we do not give weight, assign any weight to self-assessment, because in our culture, everyone believes or thinks, or when they are doing their assessment, they rate themselves very much higher, right? So this today's session was not in context of our official performance measurement activity. This was a general topic that if you want to achieve something in your life, then you should at least monitor your progress honestly and continuously. So do not see this today's subject in only in context of our performance measurement activity.
There's another question from Sayyid Tariq Jamil, जो लाहौर से पूछ रहे हैं, can we take help from other for goal setting? इस पे आप क्या comment करेंगे?
Obviously उसके अंदर मैंने एक चीज़ कही थी कि you should have mentors in your life or you should have like-minded people in your life. तो जो आपके mentors होते हैं, they will obviously help you in setting your goals due to their experience. तो when you are setting your goals, एक तो you have obviously your आपके अपने life के होते हैं कुछ you set some higher standards, but you can consult your mentors anytime to see कि भाई either those goals are achievable or not, वो possible है उनको achieve करना या नहीं, right? तो you should consult your mentors, your seniors when you are setting your goals.
Agreed. अच्छा, एक और क्वेश्चन एंटरटेन करते हैं. हुसैन रजा है हमारे साथ, AM Wireless. If someone has the ability and competency and also working hard to achieve goals, but output or achievement is not accordingly, what should one do?
If you have, sorry, can you please repeat?
चाह रहे हैं कि आप एक कॉम्पिटेंट आदमी हैं और आपके अंदर एबिलिटी भी है एंड यू वर्क हार्ड सो मच, बट इवेंचुअली आपकी आउटपुट या अचीवमेंट वो नहीं आई जो आप हासिल करना चाह रहे थे. तो ऐसे केस में आपको क्या करना चाहिए?
देखिए उसकी देर मे बी सो मेनी रीजंस. वन मे बी लैक ऑफ योर मोटिवेशन, बट यू आर सेइंग दैट यू आर वर्किंग हार्ड टुवर्ड्स इट. It may be that you are not moving towards the right direction, or as I said that there may be some circumstances which are not supporting your goal, or your goal is too big that it is not possible to achieve it. So you have to explore the reasons that why you are not achieving that goal. There are multiple reasons.